We have good news, everybody. Tesla beat delivery expectations by delivering 484,500 vehicles in Q4, which is 4,000 higher than the Wall Street consensus. Tesla is no longer telling us how many Model S's and X's they are selling. Instead, they are grouping these two vehicles with a Cybertruck and possibly with a Semi as well. So it will be a little bit difficult to figure out initially how many Cybertrucks Tesla is selling, because this number could go up not because Tesla is selling many Cybertrucks, but because Tesla maybe is more effective at selling Model S's and X's. But later on, it will become obvious that Tesla is selling Cybertrucks, because once we see that number go to 50,000, then obviously 30,000 of these, probably Cybertruck. Because generally this number stays at around 20,000. This time, almost 23,000, so that's really good actually. In Q3, Tesla only delivered 16,000 Model S's and X's, unless it's a lot of Cybertrucks, but my guess is that Tesla delivered somewhere between 100 to 300 Cybertrucks in Q4, so a very tiny number compared to 23,000 Model S's and X's pretty much. And one reason why Tesla did so much better this time with these more expensive models, which are great for Tesla's margins, is probably because people are finding out that you can get a $7,500 tax credit when you buy the dual motor all-wheel drive Model X. And if you like the idea of the Falcon wing doors, that car is perfect for you, but it's not for everyone. Also, the low lease rates this quarter are very unusual. James says this will help the top line. You can see how this compares to previous quarters. Yeah, it's super low. And here is how 2023 deliveries compare to all of the previous years. The growth looks pretty good. And now we are off to 2024. I'm looking forward to Tesla's energy business this year, the new factory in China, Optimus updates, FSD updates, the Cybertruck ramp, and I'm looking forward to pretty much not hearing anything about the next generation vehicle, because Tesla is probably going to keep everything really quiet. But we know that they are making progress. For example, Tesla sneakily started testing Fremont built refresh Model 3s, and we now know that Tesla actually started production of these upgraded Model 3s at the Fremont factory in California. And even more, we can now confirm that initial production of performance variants of the updated Model 3 began in early December, and only now we are finding out about it. And that's a project that does not really have any major consequences if everyone suddenly finds out about it. And with the stakes being much higher with the next generation vehicle, I'm sure Tesla is protecting that project. Now, it's unclear how many refresh Model 3s have been made in Fremont, but we can see that some certainly have been made. And unlike what happened in China, once the refresh Model 3 goes on sale here in the US, all of the model should be available, including the performance model. There's a pretty detailed FSD beta version 12.1 update write-up. He has a Model Y with hardware 3. He says the car feels a lot more human-like, and his wife could not tell whether he was driving or the car was driving itself. It also does some very human-like behaviors. For example, imagine driving on a 2-lane highway and you are driving on the left side because you are going faster than everyone, but then a car approaches you from behind that's going even faster. The car then, he said, changed the lane to the right lane, and then after that car from behind passed him, then the car went back on the left lane. Speed control is much smoother and appears to adjust itself smoothly with the surrounding traffic flow. FSD version 12 is more patient and assertive during lane-changing maneuvers. There's no more middle-of-the-change hesitation, changing mind in the middle of a lane change, which is really annoying. And if you have FSD on your car, you definitely know what neighborhood laneless road snaking is. It's when the car does this when it really shouldn't. It's very common in neighborhoods where there are single lane roads wide enough to accommodate roadside parking, or simply single lanes that gradually diverge into more lanes, or vice versa. And that's finally gone with version 12. As we saw from the leaked version 12.1 video, the car does handle bumps much better. He says handling of the bumps is excellent, which is absolutely not the case with FSD version 11. One issue though that he has with FSD version 12 is stopping at stop signs fully and completely. He says that the way it does it right now, people behind you are going to start maybe even honking at you, or certainly at least get very annoyed with you. But I don't think that's a defect of FSD version 12. This is a result of silly regulation. The main thing that he has to do himself the most is adjusting speed. For example, when you come off the highway or before you go onto the highway, seems like you might want to change the speed limits yourself a lot. And then he says that this current version is trained mostly in California where the weather is good. So I think what he's trying to say, if the weather is not good, it doesn't really work well right now. And that's because it doesn't have much data from these other places. A big thanks goes to Tony for sharing this post with all of us. More and more people are getting FSD version 12 now, and this seems to be a pretty common first reaction. Experience version 12 for the first time, and I am mind blown. It feels very human-like acceleration and braking as smooth as a Hermes scarf. Previous versions were good, but always felt robotic. This is just incredibly natural. Hats off to the Autopilot team. You know, one big issue that I have with using FSD currently, version 11, when I have passengers in my vehicle is it just does sometimes. It just doesn't feel like it's a human driving, and then I get stared at. So even if I'm going through an area that I know FSD will handle well, occasionally I still turn it off because I do not want any sudden steering wheel movements that will freak out any of my passengers. But with FSD version 12, that does not seem to be a problem at all anymore. So just that one single improvement is going to allow me to start using FSD a lot more often. Because another thing that I assume is different about this version, because it's so human-like, when it does phantom brake or does something really silly, it will probably do it more in a human-like way instead of doing it suddenly, which should make takeovers much smoother. When I have passengers in my vehicle, I am always on the edge thinking, okay, is FSD gonna do something really silly at any moment now? These takeovers are often not very smooth. So with just these two changes, FSD should be a lot more useful to most people. This is still happening? These vehicles are still getting the money from the government because they are electric. How electric? Well, this one has 32 miles of range and it gets the full $7,500 rebate. This feels like corruption in plain sight. Legalized corruption. I'm not saying these vehicles should get zero, but yeah, not 7,500 for 32 miles of range. Then that's all a fully battery electric vehicle gets with 320 miles of range. We have heard before that everyone is buying Rivians. In fact, everyone is buying so many of them that Rivian missed its deliveries today and the stock is down almost 10% as I'm recording this. The company reported increased vehicle production during the fourth quarter, but fewer deliveries than the previous period. At least at a first glance, it appears like Rivian is not able to sell every single vehicle that they produced. Demand is slower for Rivian. Now, interestingly, Wall Street's expectations were pretty much in line with the actual deliveries, but the stock still tanked. I wonder if the Sabra had anything to do with Rivian's production increasing, but deliveries not increasing. I think it is reasonable to expect that. Certainly, there was some impact. The host of Electrified just made some good points. With Tesla's Q4 delivery number, this now marks 3 years achieving its 50% growth target that was set in 2020. You are going to hear a lot of noise throughout the year about Tesla failing to continue this pace in 2024. What Tesla actually said in 2020 was over a multi-year horizon, we expect to achieve 50% average annual growth in vehicle deliveries. The rate of growth will depend on our equipment capacity, factory uptime, operational efficiency, and the capacity and stability of the supply chain. Translation: even if Tesla misses the mark of 2 0.52 million for 2024, given they are in an intermediate growth phase before next generation launches. They never said they would grow 50% every single year. And if you follow me on Patreon, you will see that quite a while ago, I already said that, in 2024, we are not going to see 2.52 million vehicles. We are going to see less than that. For long-term investors, what happens in 2024 is not nearly as important as what happens in the few years following. We'll see what happens in 25 and 28 as the $25,000 compact and Cybertruck scale. And James agrees with Dylan. Yes, all of this. I think 2024 will be weak in terms of the growth percentage relative to past years, but over the long term, this will not matter, and energy will play a key role next year. And from 2013, Tesla averaged 55.1% compound annual growth rate. Wow. And it takes a Tesla bear to not understand this chart. Look at what happens when Tesla releases new models, especially when the new model enters a new, completely untapped market. The growth explodes, and it explodes quickly. I think that I could have possibly trained my dog to understand that then there is a new model. Most likely, very good things are gonna happen. Like a big treat appearing in someone's bank account. The fourth quarter of 2023 saw the highest Tesla Model S and X deliveries of any quarter over the past 5 years. That's pretty good, and these cars are the cars that by far would have suffered the most brand damage caused to Tesla. Instead, Tesla sold more of them than they have in the past 5 years. Like I said, there's still time to admit they were wrong. How many times did Tesla cut prices on the Model X? We started the year with $121,000, and now it is $80,000. Also, it gets the $7,500 tax credit, and we know that if you buy a Model X, you are a pretty high income earner, so that means you're actually using the whole $7,500. Unlike with a Model 3 or a Model Y buyer where probably their income is not that high, so they don't get the full $7,500. So in reality, the price is $72,500. Just so you understand how big of a difference that is, we would have to increase the price by about 65% just to come back to where we were before. Mind you though, Tesla could stop selling Model S's and X's and Tesla would be just fine, but in Q2 it delivered 19,000 of these. In Q3 of this year, Tesla only delivered 16,000 despite these big price cuts, so Q3 was lower than Q2. And now in Q4, I'm seeing a number that I'm actually fairly happy with. This is what I would expect to see after cutting the prices significantly. But I think it's more fair to compare Q1 with Q4 for Model S and X because in Q1, Tesla basically had no backlog anymore for these more expensive vehicles, and basically Tesla more than doubled the quarterly sales for this lineup. So I'm actually fairly happy. And if we keep cutting prices for these two vehicles, then soon Tesla will be selling premium vehicles at non-premium prices. To many people, the price still feels a bit premium. So if we actually cross that barrier between premium pricing to non-premium pricing, I think that's where you have the most elasticity for volume. Tesla has removed the 6 months of free supercharging benefit from the referral program. Buyers now only get a 3-month trial of FSD beta. We have seen this move from Tesla before. Yeah, and Tesla kept lowering the referral benefits, but then it actually cut the prices of the vehicles. So while it is certainly possible that this could be bullish for Tesla because the profit margins would increase slightly if Tesla gives away less money basically for referring new customers to Tesla, but if Tesla instead cuts prices further, then there's no real bullishness here. Here's a little fun story. Gordon Johnson officially estimated that Tesla's Q4 deliveries will be at 467,000. So officially, Gordon Johnson has been wrong again. It is a good day today for Tesla. The delivery numbers could have been even higher because if you remember, there was a ship that was sent to Australia, which was turned back to Shanghai because of the stink bug infestation within the ship. And that ship could have possibly carried as many as 6,500 Tesla vehicles. And despite that, Tesla still beat the consensus. So I'm very happy with that.
Elon Musk. Good guy? Bad guy? Who is he?
He's his own man. He's his own man. And he's an unpredictable guy, yet predictable. Areas he's predictable in. He's not compromising his vision. He's a true believer. He's not for money. He could care less about the money. He got the money stuff when he bought the P1, when he got his first million, and he did what he did. This is not a money guy. This is a vision guy. This guy put his career and his business ahead of everything else he was doing, to the point where he's like, I can't even be married having kids because I'm not going to be a great father, because my babies are, Neuralink and Tesla and all this other stuff. He's super necessary. Imagine you're worth $300 billion. You choose to buy a company that's in shambles for $44 billion. And you're a rock star, you're a hero, you're an Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. playing you, the real life Iron Man, and you're getting the women, you have the notoriety, you're on every single magazine, you're being picked up everywhere. One thing you say, you got 150 million followers, and then you said, yeah, if we want to save America, we have to vote Republican. What?
So what's his why?
He calls himself a humanist. Okay, he calls himself a humanist. His fears with AI, his fears. Have you seen this movie Creator that came out? I think everybody needs to go watch. Don't waste your money with Napoleon. Go watch Creator. Creator is going to get you thinking. You will cry. You will be angry. You'll experience every emotion you should in a movie.
We were created to save you, to destroy you. Okay, this already seems interesting. I'll probably put this on a list of movies to watch eventually. The IMDb rating is 6.8, so that's fairly decent, but not very high. If you like the genre, you will probably like the movie. I like this kind of genre, so yeah, I'll probably love the movie.
There's a quote in Elon's book, I think it's the last chapter, that says, Elon likes to take the fiction out of science fiction. What a quote.
Yeah.
What a quote. So this guy wants to have you watch a movie and say, oh, I just watched a science fiction movie. That ain't no science fiction, man. That's a science movie.
Yeah.
Because it's now real. A famous quote back in the days by a German philosopher said, if a lion could speak, we could not understand him. Not everybody's going to understand lions. They speak a different language. And we don't have to fully understand every time a lion opens their mouth.
I understand Elon Musk pretty well, so I guess that makes me a lion. I am a Leo, so maybe that actually makes sense. A reminder that later this week I will be dropping an exclusive video on this channel. I will put the word exclusive in the beginning of the title so you know that it is a unique exclusive video on that particular channel. It will be roughly a 10-minute video, so make sure to subscribe to that channel if you don't want to miss it. And I just uploaded a new video on the Wow with Mad channel. This guy lifted up a girl that was dressed like his wife. Go watch it if you want to have a good laugh. The link is down below in the description of the video that you're watching right now.